Up until now in this course, you have been dealing with the situation in which you have had only one group of people in your research study, and only one measurement number on each of these people. We will now change gears, and deal with the situation in which you are measuring two groups of people instead of only one group of people. But, first, we need to understand the steps involved in hypothesis testing when two groups of people are involved before we dive into the formulas for this test. Here is the 9 steps for hypothesis testing using the two-group t-test. Step 1. Name one group, Group 1, and the other group, Group 2. If you define which group is Group 1 and which group is Group 2, you can use these numbers in your computations without having to write out the names of the groups. This step makes it easier for you to make sure that you are using the correct numbers in the formulas for the two-group t-test. If you get the numbers mixed up, your entire formula work will be incorrect and you will botch the problem terribly. The null hypothesis states that the population means of the two groups are equal, while the alternative hypothesis states that the population means of the two groups are not equal. Step 4. Select the appropriate statistical test. Since this lesson deals with the situation in which you have two groups of people, but only one measurement on each person in each group. Step 5. Decide on indecision rule for the two-group t-test. A. If the absolute value of t is less than the critical value of t, accept the null hypothesis. B. If the absolute value of t is greater than the critical value of t, reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternate hypothesis. Step 6. Calculate the formula for the two-group t-test. Since we are using two different formulas in this chapter for the two-group t-test depending on the sample size of the people in the two groups, we will explain how to use those formulas later in this lesson. Step 7. Find the critical value of t in the t-table. To use t-table correctly in this lesson, you need to learn how to find the degrees of freedom for your study. Step 8. State the result of your statistical test. The result follows the exact same result format that you found for the one-group t-test in previous lesson 2. Step 9. State the conclusion of your statistical test in plain English. Writing the conclusion for the two-group t-test is more difficult than writing the conclusion for the one-group t-test, because you have to decide what the difference was between the two groups. This concludes the use of two-way t-test for this lesson. Have a good day.